Hey friends! So I was actually really stuck on what I was going to do a video on this week. I am trying to get out at least a video once a week, and I'm not super great at that. You might have noticed. I was bouncing around a couple ideas, but I got like nothing. And then, da 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 da, I checked the comments. So we're going to do a little bit of a comment section. Yay! This comment is from LS, and it said, a little off topic, but do you have any tips for how you did the travel to the national parks? If you didn't see that video, because why would you? I don't know why. Okay, so one of my goals for this whole channel is that it's a place where I keep my family's memories. When I was growing up, my little brother absolutely loved watching home videos. And in the digital era, videos just kind of disappear after a while. The quality's really low. You get a new phone, you lose your phone. Yes, you store them to Google Photos, and then Google Photos tells you that you need to pay for more storage. So you delete things. Well, YouTube doesn't, because they can make money off your things. So I have a video of a really cool trip we took going to all the national parks and state parks in Colorado and a little bit into Utah. So that's what she's referring to. I believe LS is a she, in that I believe everyone watching is a she, only because I looked at my stats once and it was like, you are 99% female viewers. Okay. That makes sense. It's all homeschool moms. So we've got 2 within a 5-hour distance, but a majority are pretty far from us. How did you choose where to go, and what was your timeline for spacing trips apart? How did you guys choose accommodations, Airbnb, hotel, RV, etc.? I'd love a video on this topic, since I'd love to hit some parks in the next year or two. Well, we went on our big national parks vacation, and I hope we get to do more, but they are so much fun. They just take a lot of time, and work is a thing for me. So, well, okay, let's start with, how do you pick which ones you want to go to? For one thing, Colorado is fantastic because it has multiple in one state. And it actually worked out really well. We just kind of made a little square around a very square state, and we got to see everything. So I would, if I were doing it again and I were picking a new state or a new collection of national parks, I would first go see, what are the national parks that I'm trying to check off my list. Okay, I've got this one, and this one. It'd be great if you could see 3. If you can only see 2, national parks are pretty big. You'll probably have some time there. And then I would say, okay, what are all the national monuments, state parks, and state monuments that I can scatter in? What's along my route? And those are going to be pretty easy to find. You just Google them, honestly, and you'll be able to find them. Make a custom Google map and pin all the different places that you want to go to, and that'll kind of show you your route. Because you're traveling so much, I would highly suggest renting an RV if you don't own an RV. We don't own an RV, would love to own an RV, but it's just not, we wouldn't use it enough for it to make sense financially right now. My grandparents retired in their 40s and RV'd until they were in their early 90s. So, goals. But, oh, they had a like house too. Like, they had a nice like farm, acreage, beautiful property. But they RV'd like 9 months out of the year. So how did you choose where to go? Well, we were actually looking at several different states to do our RV trip in, but we wanted to drive the whole time, because we didn't want to like fly somewhere, get an RV, and then drive around, because we have kids and we have a lot of stuff and we homeschool. So we wanted all of our stuff to be there with us. When I pack, by the way, I pack in organizer boxes. So do that for an RV trip. I had like organizer boxes, and I'm like looking around my room to see if I have any of these right here with me. And those like Latchmate boxes for the school stuff. And that way, it's like everything unpacked into the cubbies really easily. It also packs really easily into the car driving to the RV place because everything's, a cube. Everything's rectangular, whereas like suitcases have like the rounded edges, and there's always so much wasted space. So organizer boxes, those like, what are they like 13 by 13 by 13 cube boxes that you get for like the Calyx IKEA shelves. Awesome. So, getting back to her point, how did you find where you wanted to go? We looked at several places. We looked at how much time we had to go on the trip, the distance to get to the first place to start, how long people wanted to drive. Now, we had 3 adults of driving age with us. However, I wasn't willing to drive. So I was scared to death of driving the RV. But my little sister is a champ at driving large vehicles. So she was totally cool with it. My husband was totally cool with it. So they did the driving. I did the being a mom. Um, so we looked at the driving distance. We looked at how many, because I'm very type A and I wanted to see how many boxes I could check off. So, how many things can we see in how much time? Making sure that we didn't have any purely driving days. So, it was a big goal to see, okay, can we make sure that we go see something every single day and then we're never like just driving? So, my goal was to never have more than a 4 hour pure drive. And, it's like, okay, you can have 4 hours in between any two locations, but you got to be able to see the locations. We also, because we were in an RV, had to map out our campsites way ahead of time. So if you don't map out your campsites ahead of time, you will end up being in a Walmart parking lot or with like no ability to do all the things that an RV needs to have done. Hookups are important, or you will end up being in a really not very nice RV park that you'll feel sketchy about. So the good ones book up fast. And I really liked staying at the really nice ones. The like, this looks like a little like camping resort and it has activities. Those were very cool. And they have a lot of those really close to the big parks. So that was great. Also, even if the like thing that you're driving to get, like your little in between things, even if they're not super interesting, it's like, oh, this is, we're driving past the house of this historical figure and that's all we're doing. Even if it's not that interesting, if it's something you can get the kids physically out of the car and walk, or RV or whatever, and get them walking around, that is so important, because otherwise, once again, you are parking in a grocery store parking lot and walking around there because you've got to get out and move at some point. Although there's a lot more movement in an RV, especially if it's the driving RV rather than the like fifth wheel, I think is what they're called, where like you tow them behind you. Um, okay, so I'm reading her thing over and over again to make sure I'm answering everything. You have 2 within a 5-hour distance. Great. That sounds like you know where you're going. So go and look for the little things that you can fill in between. Go and see if there are just really cool things in little towns. So if you're plotting out the route on Google Maps and you see that you'll be passing through a town, go investigate that town a little bit and see if there's something cool you can do there. Even if it's just, hey, this is a really cool place, we're going to go get lunch, because it's like a diner that looks like the 1950s, or it's something. If it's just a really cool place, have a plan for that day. Also, I love RVs because you can go grocery shopping and have everything right there. And that's a big plus for me, because I don't like stopping and eating at a restaurant or getting lots and lots of fast food. I like fast food. I'm a Taco Bell girl, but I don't like like if I don't like the feeling after fast food. I don't like feeling greasy and gross. We also keep kosher, so like you can't keep kosher if you go to fast food. You can't keep kosher if you go to restaurants. So we're more like kosher in the home, but vegetarian. So everything is kind of kosher-ish, kosher style. Yeah, the perils of living in the Midwest. It's not easy to keep kosher here. So vegetarian works better. Let's see. Spacing out, choosing accommodations. I kind of talked about that. I like the really nice RV parks, but budget it. So figure out, okay, if we're going to spend this much to rent the RV and this much on gas for this distance and this much for entry fees to these different places and this much for food, where can we afford to stay at night? And you can research a lot of these RV campgrounds pretty easily and figure out exactly what they're going to charge you. It's usually cheapest to go on their website rather than a third party website. Um, my sister actually planned our trip out. Like we planned it out together for the first half, and then she just like went nuts. She is an excellent trip planner. Um, she works for a cruise line, so she's an entertainment director at a cruise line, so she like is in charge of all the theaters on like the ships, making sure that everything goes really well. So she's really organized and really like hospitality minded. So she's very good at planning trips. Like no one in the family will go anywhere if she hasn't planned the trip. Um, so like, you know, my stepdad will like go to Germany or something and like she won't even be there and like she has planned his entire itinerary and it's perfect. Um, so I am spoiled by that. Um, yeah. So that's kind of how, you know, I would go about doing it. The other thing is think about what you're going to be learning either this year or next year and how you can relate the items into your school. So like last time we did it, we were doing American history. So it really didn't matter where we went in America because we were doing American history. So we brought who was books along that lined up as much as possible with what we were looking at. Um, we brought like geography for the United States and just her regular math curriculum. But we like purposefully brought things on the trip that would like relate everything back so that it was like an entire educational experience and super ridiculous fun. You know, we're out there at an RV park and they've got like a gold panning station and we're panning for gold and my husband's like reading a book about gold panning to my daughter. I mean, it was like well done. So it was some fun stuff. Highly suggest doing national parks, state parks trips. They are phenomenal. And if I did it again, I would do it in an RV again. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. If you have more questions and more comments, hey, please leave me comments because apparently I will make videos on them. So leave me a comment down below, like and subscribe. Let me know what you want me to talk about, and I will do it. Thanks. Bye.